Hello, my dearest friends. Welcome back to my channel, Diana and the Book Hunt. I was thinking of doing my May wrap up today. I did a mid-month wrap up halfway throughout May, and I wanted to discuss the last part of May, so what books I read in that period of time. But then I was going through all the books that I read in May and actually like the tail end of April. And I figured out that a lot of the books that I read, actually, probably most of the books that I read were new releases. So I think what I'm going to do actually is focus on new releases and whether you should be picking them up. So the yes, no, maybe kind of a video. And I've brought together all of the books that I've read since like halfway throughout April, because I did do a new releases video back then. I'm going to link it up in the cards if you want to check that one out if you haven't seen it yet. And I'm going to tell you all about these books. Some of these obviously have also been discussed in wrap-ups, so you can check my lengthy thoughts in the description below. So I'm going to link those videos in the description. So we've got the April wrap up. A couple of the books from the first part of this video are going to be linked there, and then a couple will be in the mid-month wrap up for May. But I'm just going to go ahead and dive in because there's about 20 books on here, and a lot of these were really anticipated releases of mine of 2025, and I have some thoughts on all of these. I really enjoyed a lot of them, but I was disappointed by a few of them, so I'm just going to go ahead and start on all these books. Now, the first couple, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I've discussed them before. And then the last couple that I haven't discussed yet are going to be the ones that I'm going to probably go into a little bit more detail about. So the first book is probably one of my biggest disappointments of the year. And I think this has been the case for a lot of people that I follow as well. So it's not just me. So I kind of feel validated about it. It's Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Now, Emily Henry has won the Goodreads Choice Award for Romance for the past couple of years. And I do think that even though a lot of people that I personally follow also did not enjoy this book, she's probably going to either win it this year or she's going to be like in the top 2 or 3 in the Goodreads Choice Awards. And I think that this year, really, they need to step away from all the Emily Henry hype and really focus on which book was the best. I hope at least, because if people just vote for the sake of popularity, then it kind of becomes a moot thing to vote for which one was the best, because there's a lot of better books, or at least better romances than Great Big Beautiful Life. For me, it just almost wasn't a romance, to be quite frank. So Great Big Beautiful Life, I would actually not recommend it. I would only recommend it if you're like this diehard Emily Henry fan who just wants to read all her books and just hype them up, whether they're really good or bad or not. So for me, it's a no, honestly. The next one is Change of Pace by Kayla Gross. This book I really enjoyed. I have to say that it's probably not my favorite by this author, but if you ask me whether I would recommend it, I definitely would. It has great representation. It has great chemistry between the two characters. There is also a road trip involved, a bucket list situation as well. So there's a lot of fun elements within this book. And I just genuinely enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend it also as a summer read. And the next one is The Rider by James Patterson. This is a thriller, actually, so it's not a romance. And I don't read a lot of these, but this one I actually highly enjoyed. I would definitely recommend this one if you like binging a good thriller on your summer vacation. This one I would definitely recommend. Now, the next one is Passion Project. This is a debut novel by London Sperry. This is a book that I think was part of the Book of the Month box. So I think a lot of people got to read it. And I'm quite curious to see how other people are responding to it. I haven't really checked a lot of other Goodreads reviews. For me, this was a 3-star read. I enjoyed parts of it. I enjoyed the writing style of this author, so I'll definitely consider picking up other books by them. But this one was a bit of a miss for me, so I don't know. I would say probably maybe to no. Really depends on if you like the more trad style publishing type of a romance. And I don't know, just to focus maybe on my reading taste. If you have a very similar reading taste to mine, maybe stay away from this book because I don't think that you'll enjoy it, because I didn't enjoy it as much as I'd hoped. Now, the next book is The Shots You Take by Rachel Reed. This is a male-male romance. It would probably be an interesting one to pick up around this time of month. It's Pride Month, so it might be a good one to pick up because it features two characters who are having a second chance romance. Both of them are now in their 40s. They have a heavy history together, and it's a good one. There are some elements that kind of irked me, but I would actually still recommend this one, I think, because it does have a good happily ever after. And we do see a character who struggles a lot with his identity really grow out of that kind of a place. So maybe a maybe. This one is a maybe, I think. And then the next one is The Bone King and the Starling by Elizabeth Stevens. This one is a definite yes for me. I highly enjoyed this one specifically because of the hero who is absolutely feral for his heroine and absolutely obsessed and gone for his woman. I really enjoyed it. Was a quick read, and really the progression of the book, it just kind of captured me. I don't know, I flew through this book. I really, really enjoyed it, and I would definitely pick up more books by this author. So this one is a yes for me. Now, moving on to another really popular release of this year, which is the ending of the Powerless series by Lauren Roberts. This one is called Fearless. I have to say that this series started really well for me. I gave the first book 4 stars, and I really enjoyed the whole trials prospect, the fact that there is kind of a hint towards a love triangle within the book. And I don't know, just there was intrigue within the world as well of what kind of situation they're in, that there are people with powers and people without powers. And I don't know, just the first book worked for me. And then the novella that came out after that, I really enjoyed as well. But after that, Reckless and Fearless were real disappointments for me. I have to be honest that Fearless probably just kind of broke the whole thing for me, to be quite honest. I really wouldn't recommend this series as a whole because of these last 2 books. Because it feels like we've wasted so much time to come to this kind of an ending that just didn't make any sense for me. And I was really disappointed with how the author shaped one of the characters. And I don't know, I just didn't enjoy this one. I honestly didn't enjoy it. So if you ask me, I wouldn't recommend this one. And then I read my very first official ARC that I've received, which is by Olivia Hill. It's called The Faking Game. And I don't know, it's not that just it's my first ARC that I'm receiving. I don't think that is just kind of this exciting feeling of getting an ARC. I really highly enjoyed this book. I gave this one 5 stars because it has exactly what I'm looking for within romances, which is good communication. And it has a quite good concept for the fake dating trope, because fake dating has been done so many times over that it can sound very repetitive. But for me, this one really worked. And I gave this one 5 stars. I have to say that the tropes within this book really worked for me. We've got an age gap. We've got a brother's best friend. This one was tricky for me because I typically don't like that trope, but it was done well in this one, I found. We've got lessons in seduction. We've got fake dating, we've got forced proximity, we've got a billionaire hero, but we've got a wealthy heroine who doesn't rely on his money. We've got a stalking situation. So there's a lot of things going on in this book that just make it kind of like a full package for me. Mainly, like I mentioned, the communication that was done within this book really worked for me. I found that even though the heroine is younger and the hero is older, just the way that they could really talk to each other about what they want and what they don't want is something that really drew me in. So this one is a definite yes when it comes to recommendations for me. The next one is Mr. Swoony by Piper Rain. I've enjoyed all of the books within this hockey series by Piper Rain, especially the audiobooks because they're done in duet. And this one was no exception. I do have to say that I just, whenever I start one of these, I fly through them, and I always enjoy the banter, the found family aspect within these books. So this one is a yes for me as well. Now we're moving on to two books that have been discussed to death, I think, in the past month or so, but I read them as well. So I'm going to put in my 2 cents over here about them. We've got Silver Elite by Danny Francis. Besides the whole controversy of what is going on with the author and the publisher and all these things about this book, if I just think about whether I enjoyed this book, hell yes. Yes, I did enjoy this book, and I am definitely invested in this world and these characters, and I definitely want to continue on in the series. And this only can mean that I would recommend that you pick this one up. And I would also recommend that you kind of steer clear off of all the drama on Threads and everywhere else on social media, so you can just maybe make up your mind on your own about this one, because I did see the hype of everyone starting to pick it up, and that's why I was also intrigued to pick it up, but I didn't see all the drama unfolding while I was reading it. I only found out about it after I read it. So I had already made up my mind about it, that I really did enjoy this one, and I would definitely recommend it. And then the next book that similarly, or at least everyone is discussing them in pairs. So they're comparing Silver Elite to the next book, which is Shield of Sparrows by Daphne Perry. This one actually is a romantasy, while the other one is a dystopian fantasy romance. And I don't find that you can actually compare them, at least that's my opinion. So I don't know, this one, I will definitely continue on with the series, but I did have some gripes with it, specifically in relations to the heroine. So the last 10% of the book really made me intrigued into wanting to continue with the series, so I definitely will. However, I don't know, I did have some issues with this one. So this one is probably a maybe for me. All right, moving on to a contemporary romance by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This one came out last month. It's called What Happens in Amsterdam. This one I really did enjoy. Probably I'm a bit biased because I have a history with Amsterdam. So it's kind of a very nostalgic and kind of a very, I don't know, it just made me feel very present in that location. So it was very atmospheric for me. I did enjoy the romance. I did have a few things that maybe bothered me in the end, but I still gave this one 4 stars. I really did enjoy this one. So if I were to have to recommend it, I definitely would. So this one is a yes for me. Now, last month, I picked up my first book by S. Massery. I know that this author has been popular. I think she has like dark-ish, bully kind of romances. And this one is the start of a specific series that I'm not sure that I will continue, to be quite honest, because I just did not really enjoy this one so much. It's a shorter, I think it's novella length, but I did not enjoy it. So I think this one is probably a no for me. I wouldn't recommend this one. Maybe I just need to try another series by this author. Typically, I do like dark romances. Some bully romances work for me while others don't. It's really a matter of maybe writing style, of whether like what age group are they in, what kind of bullying happens. I don't know, just certain books might work for me, but most probably nowadays won't. So I don't know, I'm not sure. For this one, it's a no. And then I picked up a book that I didn't know very much about, but it's a new release called The Summer of You and Me by Denise Hunter. And I thought when I saw it popping up on my Storytel that it's marketed as a romance, but honestly, it's more so a mystery with a little romance intertwined with it. So maybe my expectation of it being a romance kind of ruined my reading experience with it. Like, if you like a good mystery with some romance present in it, you might like it. But if you're expecting to get like a summer kind of a romance, you might get disappointed in this one. So this one is more so a maybe, because in the end, there were some good parts within it. So it's not like I didn't fully enjoy it. I gave it 3 stars. But again, my expectations were different for this one. So that's why it's a maybe. And then I picked up the new release by Vi Keeland, which is called Jilted. This is one that focuses on a wedding planner who actually was engaged, but she got ditched just before she was supposed to get married. So she really doesn't like being in the wedding industry anymore, because it kind of reminds her of what she has gone through. And she falls in love with a guy who she's going to encounter at different weddings, because they have this friend group of 12 people who used to attend the same college, who are all going to get married within like a year time. So she knows she's going to encounter him at all these weddings, and she has a romance with him. But this one, I don't know, it just didn't grab me as much as other Vi Keeland books that I've read, because I typically do enjoy this author's writing. I didn't really feel the connection very much with the hero and heroine. And if I have to be honest, I've read other wedding romances that have made me feel giddy. I typically really enjoy a wedding setting within a book. So this one is probably a no for me. And then I started a book called 32 Days in May by Betty Corello. And I DNF this one. So it's safe to say that this one is a no for me. This one deals with a woman who has depression, and she also is dealing with a lupus diagnosis. And she has this one night stand with this guy who used to be a reality star. But this all happens within the first like 20% of the book. And it's just such a weirdly written book, for me at least. It feels like you're reading a lit fic book, but with a really kind of a depressing undertone note to it. And I'm not really feeling in the mood for this kind of a book at the moment. It's getting summary, so I really want to read more kind of summary and more positive books. I don't know, maybe it's bad to say, because it probably does have really good chronic illness representation and everything, but it just wasn't the book for me. So if you have the same reading taste as mine, probably don't pick up this book. And then I read the last book within the Windy City series by Liz Tamfordy, which is called Rewind It Back. And this is going to end up in my favorites of the year books. So it's safe to say that I would 100% for certain recommend this one. I actually ordered my copy already, and my mom is going to bring it to me when she comes to visit in a couple of weeks' time. And I can't wait, honestly, to have the physical copy to complete my little collection over there, because I have all of the books. And this one is Rio's story, and he has a second chance at romance with his first love. I just ate this book up. I ate it up, and there's just so many things within this book that worked for me. The boombox, the fact that they connect over music, the birthday ritual that they have, just the small moments that make this book so, so, so good and so romantic. I really loved it. Liz Tamfordy put something within her books that I just cannot deny really works for me. So this one is a definite yes for me. And then I read another very anticipated release for myself for this year by one of my all-time favorite authors, Kennedy Ryan. Her latest release is Can't Get Enough. It released in May. And I love this one within the Skyland series. So we've got book 1, Before I Let Go. The second book, This Could Be Us. This one, Can't Get Enough. I have to say that I probably loved Before I Let Go the most, because I'm a sucker for a second chance romance. And then the second one that I love the most is Can't Get Enough. And then This Could Be Us, though I gave all of them 4 to 5 stars. So this is really something that should give you an inkling towards the fact that you should definitely pick up all of them if you have a similar reading taste to mine. This one features a heroine who is child-free by choice. She is dealing with a parent who is dealing with dementia or Alzheimer's, and she also is dealing with the fact that she has this attraction with this man who is the ex of one of her working partners. So he's kind of off limits for her. So we've got a very good setup for a very kind of a juicy, spicy kind of romance. I really highly enjoyed this one, so I would definitely recommend it. And then I read the new release by Ali Hazelwood, which is Problematic Summer Romance. And this one was kind of a surprise, I think, for all of us, because we didn't know that she's going to come out with 3 books within 1 year. But she did. I don't know what this woman is doing with her time, but she is a machine. This one is the second book that follows up her Not in Love book from last year. That one so the book from last year, I didn't enjoy as much. I just didn't buy into the romance of the 2 protagonists in that one. And this one, when it started off, so for the first 20%, I was like, not sure I'm gonna love this one as well. Maybe the series is not for me. But I'm really happy that I pushed through, because I actually, in the end, really highly enjoyed this one. We've got a book with an age gap between hero and heroine. The hero is, I think, about 15 years older than the heroine, and he's actually her brother's best friend, and they work together. And she's kind of always had a thing for him. And this is why I think the first 20% of the book had me thinking that I'm not going to enjoy this book, because I actually like someone pining within a book, but I prefer for it to be the hero and not the heroine. And whenever we've got a heroine who kind of throws herself at a hero, it just doesn't work for me. But this heroine does it in such a fun and different kind of a way that in the end, she kind of won me over. And the fact that in the end, we really find out that it's the hero who's been pining all along, it just makes all the difference for me within this romance. So I definitely enjoyed it, and I would definitely recommend it. And then I read a book by Catherine Center called The Love Haters. This one has me on the fence, because Catherine Center has a couple of books that I've very much enjoyed and I would definitely recommend, but she also has a couple of books that haven't worked for me. And this one sits somewhere on the fence between the 2, because I did enjoy certain parts of this book, but then certain parts I didn't. Because we've got a heroine who, she used to be in a relationship with a guy who got famous, but they were in a relationship before he got famous. And then what happened is she goes on these award shows with him, and people photograph them. And then social media starts this toxic cycle of discussing her and making certain comments about her, where she develops an eating disorder. And essentially, she starves herself so that she can look thinner and thinner. So we've got an eating disorder situation going on that is very much discussed within the book, but there are no trigger warnings for this one, as far as I know. So you kind of go into this one without knowing that you're going to get this kind of a story, and it's very focused on this part of her journey within the book. So it's kind of heavy. And at the same time, the whole fact that in the end, she does come to the realization that she needs to love herself for who she is and how she is, etc. After having gone through such a journey, it kind of feels like it was thrown in there as an obligatory kind of an observation, so that it makes sense that she is kind of healed from it. But how she has healed herself is not really visible, to be quite honest, from my opinion. So the romance was all right. But if I have to be honest, I don't think I would recommend this one, because it just has such heavy undertones to it that it makes the romance not feel very positive in the end. And I've got a last one that I'm going to discuss. We've run over almost, I think, over 20 books. But this one is the last one. I just recently read it. It's A Love Story by Annabelle Monaghan. This one, I think it's a maybe, though I'm more inclined to say a no, because the previous books that I've read by this author I've actually really enjoyed, but this one just felt like it was too much focused on a premise that for me doesn't make sense for someone who is an adult. And the way that she did have a romance with a guy, but something that happened broke them apart, like halfway throughout the book or in the 70% mark of the book. That just didn't make sense to me and really bothered me in the end. And I don't know, I just didn't, I don't know, I didn't enjoy this one. The premise is essentially we've got a hero and heroine who are supposed to work together on making this movie. They've got the rights through their production company. And she gives an idea to use a very popular kind of a, almost like a Harry Styles kind of a star to write a song for the soundtrack of this movie so that it gets more traction. And she lets it slip that she knows this guy and that she can ask him to write the song, but she kind of over exaggerates her relationship with the singer. And she now needs to go on a quest to try to find him to see if he's going to agree to write the song. And it turns out that he's going to have a concert in the small town, or actually in the town where the hero lives. And he's like, oh, he actually has a concert and you can stay a week in our property so that we can try to locate where he's going to be and get some chances to speak to him. And that's where she goes with the hero and she meets his very large family. So there's a lot of positive points when it comes to this book, when it comes to the family and how they interact with each other and how she starts to see a different part of him because of how he is with his family. And again, within the development of the romance, I enjoyed that part of the book. But then the whole other thing with the quest to find this guy just didn't make sense for me. And why she broke it off with the guy also didn't make sense for me. So for me, I'm more inclined to say no. All right, my dear friends, these were all the new releases that I've read in the recent month and a half or so, and my thoughts on whether you should pick them up or not. Please let me know if you've read any of these books, whether you enjoyed them, whether you have them on your TBR. And what I can tell you already is that I've got a couple of new releases on my TBR for this month as well. I'm going to be reading Left of Forever by Tara DeWitt. I'm going to be reading Caught Up by Nevessa Allen. I'm going to be reading the new release by Julie Soto. I'm going to be reading the new release by Danielle L. Jensen, the second book within her Fate Ink Thin Blood series. I'm also going to be reading Gloves Off by Stephanie Archer. So you can already sense that I'm probably going to be doing one of these videos like in a month's time or so, because I'm going to have a lot of thoughts on these books as well. So let me know if you have other new releases that you're looking forward to that I should also put on my radar and see whether I can read them for the next video. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please subscribe if you haven't already, if you like this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Happy reading. Take care and bye-bye.